Parental discretion is advised.
Find yourself in the Beachview area of Pittsburgh? Check out the official pizza of this show, Slice on Broadway, sharing an abnormal obsession with pizza we can relate to. Check them out at sliceonbroadway.com and tell them this show sent you. Donate as little as $1 an episode to get your name in the show and access WMS Gold content. Check out our page at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show or click the link on our site. Want to have your business or podcast featured on the show? Contact us at info@sorgatronmedia.com. Subject line, advertising.
Wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time.
Hey guys, it's that time of the week where we all gather around and talk about guys getting sweaty in a four-cornered ring in tights. That's right, it's the most heterosexual podcast on the internet. It's the Wrestling Mayhem Show 420. I am, of course, Sorgatron at Sorgatron on the Twitters. With me, as usual, is my trusty hetero sidekick, DJ Lunchbox.
What's up, everybody? That's correct. It is DJ Lunchbox. I am available for parties and also bar mitzvahs. So check me out at the Papa Lunchbox on the Twitters. You cannot afford me.
The Papa Lunchbox. Sorry, I'm fixing your title because I realized I have the old information here. So, but there you are.
Sorry.
There you are. Also with us is the Rizz, also around here in the Pittsburgh, PA area.
I also have a "the" in my name, but I have two E's.
Which is still messed up, and I don't understand it, and it confuses me so.
Sorg, are you high?
What's wrong with people? I have had my name since the beginning.
Are you high?
I'm not high. Even
Why
though
aren't
it
you high?
is episode 420, but
It's
maybe we'll do a little bit of Rob Van Dam appreciation. So in the meantime, this is your Wrestling Mayhem
I also
Show.
have my original Twitter name, motherfucker. You can find me at DJ Lunchbox, but it's not as funny.
You're
Awesome.
always
But anyways, you can, I don't know which one to add anymore, but you can find us at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You can find our audio and video on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, YouTube as well, on Blip TV via, on the Roku via the Blip TV app, actually, and on Blip TV, of course. You can also drop us a line to that email address at
Good time.
Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. 412-206-WMS0 is the hotline if you want to call that up. You can also tweet us at Mayhem Show. We're on Facebook. We're on Google Plus as the Wrestling Mayhem Show. And you can also join us on the Wrestling Mayhem Show group on Facebook with a lot of conversation. Most of the conversation is going on right there. And please leave your comments on iTunes. Leave your comments on the YouTube Wrestling Mayhem Show. Let me know if you think Rizz or Mad Mike are less racist than they were last week on the TNA wrap-up. Maybe we'll get that to a little bit later. But we got so much content. Indie Mayhem Show, TNA after shows, Raw wrap-ups, and whatever other random stuff may come up during the week. Clips from other shows, old interviews with so many people. Some people may be murderers. We'll find out hopefully in the near future. Thanks, Jimmy Snuka. Your wife was wonderful to talk to.
Whoa.
Realized how that came out.
That
What?
that was awkward.
And also, as you saw at the top of the show, we do have a Patreon. It's value for value. If you dig the show, if you like what we're doing here, if, as some of the emailers say, if you like when we bring the funny and you want to support the show directly, go to patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. And of course, there's a link over there at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. For as little $1 a episode, we have extra stuff, Wrestling Mayhem Show Gold, a little bit of that in between stuff, us off script, not that we're really on script, talking maybe less wrestling, a little bit other stuff, and we're hoping to do some more content here in the near future. So thanks again, TheWrestlingRevolution.com, who's also the W Revolution on the Twitters as well, and of course, Bo Diggity, woo!
Woo!
So thanks to those guys for supporting the show directly, opening up their wallets and helping out there. A little bit of money to help get things taken care of around here. And we really, really do appreciate it. So let's get started the only way we know how, and that's with the fan mail. And I believe our first one's by Dustin. Dear nation of all things involving honest dissection of wrestling-based media. From the year or so of interacting with you fine folks on the podcast, we can all agree that I am unique in my wrestling fandom. I'm willing to admit that while there are numerous faults involving TNA, as you guys usually talk about on Thursday nights, I am much more a fan of their production than that which WWE provides me. Really? Perhaps I am just a glutton for punishment, but it's a testament to our individuality.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like a smaller budget, and it feels a little bit different, and the lights are blue. That's what I take away from it. Anyways, one thing that I am different on is the Bray Wyatt character. While I enjoy the promos that he cuts, I am not as crazy about him as most others, like the entire crowd that sings the damn song. Perhaps it is because I was more interested in his cult leader potential, but the creepy factor that has been the undertone for everything involving him has deflated my enthusiasm for things involving the Wyatts. This could be due to the fact I am not heavily into scary movies, but it was just something I wanted to share. You know, I can't think that it's you like scary movies and that's it. I think some of us identify that it is that crazy cult character a little bit. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that comment on his take on the Wyatts?
I don't like scary movies either. I've never been into them. But I love the Bray Wyatt character. I think it's fascinating and different because it's so well done. I think that's the thing. But I can see where he's coming from. Because on the flip side, I do like thrillers. You know what I mean? Like I don't like horror movies, but I love like Seven. But Seven is mostly cerebral. You know what I mean? And I think you get a lot of that with the Wyatt family.
You also like Six, as we mentioned earlier.
You know, and I think it's more that, again, it is cerebral. It's something different. You know, it's not a typical character, but it is very much a character, right? But it's a very, I want to say, a real character.
He says it is a cult. It is a cult figure, and what I think makes this work, and what he thinks doesn't make this work, is the fact that there is fan interaction with Bray Wyatt, as some heels tend to try to exclude themselves from the pack and try to exclude themselves from the fans. Bray is embracing the fact that he is controlling the crowd, and the crowd is by his side, and he can do whatever he wants and say whatever he wants, and he knows that he has, in character, brainwashed the fans. And that's why this character works. If Bray Wyatt, all he does is sing that one song over and over again without those fans singing along with him, it fails. Because he is supposed to have that cult following.
It's so interesting.
That's the biggest difference. A lot of people compare Bray Wyatt to Waylon Mercy, but the biggest difference between Bray Wyatt and Waylon Mercy is that the crowd likes Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Certainly.
And also, we have comparison of the Brood, which I don't want to get into.
But there's three of them, Rizz. There's three of them. There's three of them.
Questions he has, Dustin. Number one, with having to live life on life's terms as of late, I have missed out on a lot of wrestling. Can you think of an event or show that you really wanted to see but couldn't because of real-world issues? For me, it was WrestleMania 25 at Reliance Stadium. I tried desperately to get off for the weekend, but was impossible due to my brand new daughter. I don't know about specific events. I can't recall. Maybe.
I thought that was you saying that, Sorg, and I was like, gee, wait, what? Brandon, what? You don't have a daughter.
No. But no. For me, I think SmackDown. Like, I had a lot of. Well, one, we didn't have UPN on our satellite system, so we couldn't see SmackDown when I first started. And then I sparingly caught it, living where I was for school. And sometimes I had classes on Thursday nights, so it was just impossible. And then, trying to catch it, on tape or something, was very hard at the time. We didn't have DVR like now. So what about you guys? And I'm sure there's something that I had to work on a Sunday when I was in high school and missed a pay-per-view or something. But other than that, I don't know. Can't really think of too much else.
I forget what pay-per-view it was. That was in Pittsburgh that one year. It had that weird picture of Stone Cold Steve Austin, like, misshapen and, like, coming out of his face.
That was Unforgiven, and I was there, and that sign was freaking scary.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to that, and I didn't go to that because I had bad grades.
Oh.
So I had to stay away.
The Rizz was grounded.
I was yeah.
Resounded?
Resounded.
That doesn't work as well.
No, it doesn't work at all, Sorg. Why'd you say that?
He was grisounded.
Man, that could work. But I really wanted to go there, and I did buy the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just saying, I want to go there. Why can't I be there? I want to be there. 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 And it was just so sad because I wasn't there.
Yep.
I just needed to study harder, I guess.
Question two.
What?
Wait. Did you not do one?
Lunchbox.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I did. I thought I did toss to you.
No. It's a Rizz. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I worked a job for a while where I was on call a lot, and so I would miss pay-per-views, and I would also have to leave like in the middle of pay-per-views, which you remember, Sorg?
Yeah.
Which was the one Royal Rumble where Edge came back and Eamon spoiled it for me, which I love to give him shit for to this day. But on the flip side of that, you were talking about, I think it was SmackDown because you didn't have UPN. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I stopped watching wrestling for a while when Monday Night Raw became a thing because I straight up did not have cable.
Yeah.
Not at all. I was out of the loop for a long time, and then my aunt, I think it was, my aunt and uncle got cable, and on very special nights, I could go to their house and sit and watch it in their basement, and that was amazing. But I rarely knew what was happening.
Same here. I was bitten by the, you don't have cable, why are you watching wrestling bug as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I
was still getting the magazines though.
I did for a little bit, and it just like faded off. Like I said, I have to say, like, there's a period in my teenage years where I'm not entirely sure what I did. Because I stopped watching wrestling. I wasn't playing too many video games because I didn't get a Super Nintendo. And the Nintendo Powers didn't make sense to me anymore because they were Super Nintendo stuff. So I honestly cannot tell you what I did for a few years in my like junior high to early high school.
That's right, folks. Episode 420 of the Wrestling Mayhem Show. It's a joke. I'm implying that you smoked pot.
Oh, which I did. Which was not the case, by the way. Which was certainly.
I thought you were going to finish something there. Lunchbox.
Nope, that was it.
Question 2. We hear the term overbooked thrown out by a lot of fans. Can you explain what the term means in your mind, as well as examples of when it helps and hurts matches? I think the term overbooked comes up when a wrestling fan reads dirt sheets and thinks they know what all of these terms mean.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take.
I always thought overbooking was when it seemed like a storyline or what they were doing with a particular character like lacked focus.
I always feel like I don't know. I honestly don't know what's meant by that term. But I feel like it's when you have a match where too much shit is going on in it, As in, there's a
Oh,
run-in.
yes.
There's a run-in by this guy, and then this guy runs in, and then this happens, and it's all screwed up, and nobody really knows what's going on.
TNA.
Half of ECW.
Bless you, Rizz.
Thank you. I was trying to say TNA. If anybody was,
I heard you.
the sneeze got in the way though. TNA. Sorry, Dustin. It's true.
Oh yeah, I mean, they do have a lot going on, and sometimes it seems like too much is going on. I guess the term can be applied to when the storyline gets in the way of having matches at all. To me, I don't know. You guys have any other thoughts on that?
It is a very delicate balance that one has to walk to be both entertaining and, interesting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And also, man cannot live on bread alone.
Man cannot
And
leave
by
on
bread, I mean professional wrestling.
The way I see it is, if you're going to start out a promo
Mm-hmm.
and then cut to commercial and then have that same promo continue from that spot and then cut to commercial again into a match
Mm-hmm.
because of that promo, and it takes 30 minutes to do that, that's kind of overbooking it.
Unless that promo is Paul Heyman saying over and over that his client defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Or it's armbar.
Who?
Oh, yes, I'll give you that.
Armbar. Yeah, I'm with that. Excellent. Number 3, with all the talks of the industry of a boom period seemingly around the corner, what is it that you feel will be the catalyst to set off the proverbial powder keg that will lead to this wrestling revolution? WrestlingRevolution.com, by the way, a little plug out there. I don't think it was intentional. They're a Patreon user, so we just want to make sure they're happy and mention their show a lot. Hey. I think Daniel Bryan's the boom. I think it's happening. I think the wrestling has returned to pro wrestling. And I think your boom period is the rise of ROH. I think that's been solidified and acknowledged by WWE.com by showing off, hey, Sarah Ray, guess what she does? This is the appreciation of everything we knew all along, going to Rizz IWC events, watching Ring of Honor since the beginning. That dream has been realized.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, and you guys brought up a lot on the show, and otherwise the great interview Paul Heyman did with on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, and he said ECW was successful because we went out there to change wrestling, and that happened. Ring of Honor, if nothing else happens, I don't know if this is a stated goal for Ring of Honor, but they changed wrestling. Over the years, it took a long time. It took guys that started with them back in 2002, 2003, and here they are now 10 years later. Some of them have had their runs and they're leaving and walking off and marrying some diva, but still, it's happening. Your Shields, your Daniel Bryan, your Cesaro. I mean, if that doesn't say, hey, we're winning the game, these guys we've been supporting are the guys, the next Hulk Hogan's, or whatever you want to call them. The next Stone Colds, the next Rocks. They are, guys. John Cena is going to go away. I want to say in the next few years, or at least to be de-emphasized. Your Seth Rollins and your Daniel Bryans and maybe a returning CM Punk are the guys that are going to be next.
You know, when that boom, when you were talking, I found a good idea of when that boom exploded.
Mm-hmm.
When Cesaro threw the Big Show out of the ring at WrestleMania, the biggest stage of them all.
Yep.
One of the indie guys, quote unquote, picked up one of the older, more established people in the business, the Big Show, and tossed him out of let's just say his ring.
The Andre, and with something as much as the Andre the Giant name on the match. I mean, that stays a lot right there.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we considering a wrestling boom, wrestling being super good, or wrestling being super popular?
I think it's a change. What is the change? I mean, I think it's both. I think a boom as far as just an explosion.
Because I agree that wrestling is as good as it has been in a long, long time. It's fantastic right now, and I enjoy it thoroughly. As far as it being as popular as it ever was, I think there's still a way to go.
Yeah.
It's not going to get to the point where they're going to sell out, or they're going to do what they did with the Pontiac Silverdome and just sell that place out.
Whoa! But we're still talking about the company that does do 70,000 to 80,000 in a stadium yearly.
Yeah,
that's true, but that doesn't mean what it used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can put on a rock concert with 90,000.
I'm sorry, Rizz. Go ahead.
I was going to say there are rock concerts now that top what WrestleMania 3 has done.
Bobby's got
There are stadiums that seating capacity is over 90,000.
Bobby, you're bringing up some good points in the chat room, and I know you're sitting there on the hangout on mute. But go ahead and unmute yourself. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this because I think I kind of agree with this.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Bobby FJ Town.
I have no longer silenced, no longer handcuffed. I am a good soldier, like David
Just
said.
tell me what you're talking about in the chat room.
Okay.
And then you forget.
I mentioned that we're in the network era now. I think this should be called. People that watch wrestling as a kid, they want to relive the old days and watch like Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage, which was on tonight on the WrestleMania Rewind show. But it's leading them to possibly discover the new superstars of the network or of the WWE, like Cesaro, like Daniel Bryan, and it's good for business basically.
There's wrestling for everybody, and I submit to you guys this. I mean, we talk about so much about all this fun stuff that's happening in wrestling. There's a Japanese invasion happening right now between Ring of Honor and a bunch of other indies going on right now. This Bullet Club that somebody's mentioning in the chat room, like everything going on there. There's a lot of choice, and no, they're not getting huge numbers at these shows, but still good numbers. I mean, AJ Styles is talking about how he's impressed with the 1,300 that showed up at the IWC show, back in Meadville. Inspire Pro, our buddy Eamon's involved with that. We're going to be talking to one of the co-owners tonight on the Indie Mayhem show. Are pulling, I think, in the upper hundreds. Of people, at least I think over 500-600. I think were the numbers I was hearing. And this is a new company, right? Versus other companies that we work with that are just now kind of turning a corner on maxing out their potential for an area, and where 200 is a good number. And seeing these companies do this, there's a lot of choice, and I think there's a lot of discovery happening now. And when you say boom, a lot of people are watching wrestling. No, they're not all watching the same wrestling, but they are watching wrestling.
and you said about the Japanese invasion.
Mm-hmm.
There's possibly, if the rumors are correct, there's going to be a Japanese invasion in NXT soon, with possibly Prince Devitt and possibly Kenta coming over.
Because there's some crazy stuff going on in Japan. Japan had a resurgence with New Japan over the last few years, and this has been happening. It's been ongoing, and the savvy internet kids like Eamon have been telling all of us old fogies about it, and now we're seeing it. We're seeing that there. We're seeing it in TNA. We're seeing it in Ring of Honor. We're seeing it on local indies on that level. I think the boom is variety. The boom is, like you say, LB, good wrestling. It's not just, hey, the WWE's doing really kick ass, but it is showing. Sorry, Rizz.
So I was going to say, so are we going to say that this isn't really a boom as it is more of like shock and awe, where there's a lot of shit going down?
Yeah, I like that.
Big explosions in different parts of the world and different areas of the United
That's
States
it. Go boom,
and in
boom,
different
boom,
parts
boom.
of the country and everywhere around the world. And it just
right,
happens
right.
to fall.
All this is happening at the same time. The WWE Network, you're right about the network era, Bobby. You have so much choice. Not only can I do that, I can go throw a subscription at an indie now and go watch however much Chikara or CZW or Ring of Honor that I want. Can we call this the internet era?
Yeah.
Of wrestling.
I agree with that.
Because we've had the internet to discover all of our Ring of Honors 10 years ago, but this whole over the top thing is happening. This whole accessibility is happening, and not just everybody stealing matches on YouTube and BitTorrents. Actual legitimate access to a variety of wrestling.
None of us ever did that ever.
Nope, never.
We got legitimately.
From the chat room, this Bullet Club fellow is saying ROH will be the biggest due to mostly on free broadcast TV. You know what? No, I don't think that's a thing anymore. Just like WWE dominates the cable. Obviously, TNA can't get even close when they have freaking Hulk Hogan at the helm, right? Ring of Honor will do what? Ring of Honor.
You can't say that that TNA can't compete with WWE because WWE rules. TNA was putting out a crap product. That's why they couldn't compete with WWE and cable ratings.
Yep. Say it's not. It's more than just a Hulk Hogan. But no, it's not just that. It's also promotion. I think it's also promotion because how many people wondered where Hulk Hogan's been this whole time? Wonder where RVD's been this whole time? There's more going on there. People are not finding the channel and finding the other wrestling.
People are still wondering where RVD's been this whole time after last night's match.
Oh my God.
Don't
talk about
WWE has no free TV over-the-air broadcast rights in the USA. They did have Ion until I think they don't have that deal anymore. It's the main event is exclusively a WWE Network. I think right now. I haven't checked my Ion. I don't have cable, so I've been watching main event. But I don't think that's a factor. I think TV as a factor, as anybody thinks about it, as in having that Monday night slot, having cable, having TV. This is not a secret to success like it used to be in the 80s when WWE used those, when WCW used those to build themselves up. There's more that needs to be placed in it. WWE is now the thing, and everybody's now fighting the uphill battle. And I don't think anybody can knock them off. Everybody wants to, you got another billionaire Ted that throws a lot of money at the situation, and these guys do it the right way, until these guys falter big time. You're not going to see anybody else rise up. These guys are the NFL of their sport. And I don't think that's going to change. So now what you're going to have is other people. Ring of Honor can be plenty successful without being $1 billion company. This is not the bar. This is just the Google to the startup companies. I'm mixing show metaphors, I know, but it's still, and TNA is the potentially future failed startup company. With all that backing. Let's see. What else does he say?
There was a.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to throw this in here. There was a time when like he said, free over the air, network TV was the be all and end all. It was bigger than cable, but it's a different era now.
Yeah.
And the ratings that network shows put up are impressive and more consistent, but they're not really the shows that get talked about anymore. I mean, for every person that's talking about the Big Bang Theory, you have 5 people talking about the Daily Show and 10 people talking about Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? It's a different era because there's more accessibility. So I don't think you can put as much emphasis on free over the air television as you used to be able to.
So right on top of that, LB, there's actually a good discussion about the ratings they get on network TV. You think in your mind network over the air NBC CBS is the top thing because of free over the air TV plus they're being on cable. Basically, those are big first 4 things people look for their entertainment. Not nearly what it used to be. The ratings are plummeting. The problem is not just because it's this network, this network, this network. It's this network, all these networks that are coming on cable that you're paying for, that you've never heard of or never flipped to. Plus you have the internet. Television constantly is saying, I am competing with the damn kids in their video games, the damn kids with their cell phones, with Twitter, with everything else. Eyeballs are going a million different ways, and it's who's going. People, again, I'm reiterating from a tech podcast. The winners are going to be the ones that are most efficient and get enough eyeballs and get the most important eyeballs to work their way. That's why so many of these indie companies, independent companies, not making millions of dollars, but thriving enough to survive, with your Chikaras, with your Aspire Pros, presumably, with your, all these other ones. You have plenty that are doing really horrible. You have plenty that should be doing well, and I don't think they're making any money. But there's a lot of opportunity now. We've heard now reality TV is exploding with wrestling. You got Billy Corgan with his group that's going to be coming in from the side door. You're going to be finding a lot more of those kinds of companies finding that side door of reality TV. Now that Total Divas and Legends House and potentially a new Tough Enough are a thing, everybody's going to want their Tough Enough. Everybody's going to want their Total Divas. And everybody's looking, it is a boom because now all these networks want wrestling in some fashion. Mm-hmm. You ever thought you'd see wrestling on AMC?
No.
It's kind of crazy. All right, we're still in an email, guys. I love these. I love when Dustin writes in. I love these things. That's it for me, guys. Sorry to have been a fan in the past several weeks, but family comes first, even if I am thinking of you, my friends. Regards, Dustin. Aww. Excellent. Hey, I want to throw a shout out real quick. Our friends Slice on Broadway right here in Beachview, neighborhood here in Pittsburgh. The South Hills of Pittsburgh, actually, right along the tracks. We got the yes.
There's another email.
Yeah,
yes, there is, and I'm getting to that after the break.
Okay, all right. I didn't know.
No, don't yell at us, Sorg. We're just trying to...
Yes, there is. There is a readjustment to the format, and you should just follow along. Good sir.
Wow.
I know it's episode 420. Sorry. I know it's 420. You're a little hazy. I can tell. It looks a little...
I apologize. I didn't get the rundown.
It's a little smoky from the look of your shot there.
Sorg, just go on. Talk about Slice on Broadway.
Slice on Broadway, the perfect place on 420 for one thing. What's going on there? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm trying to clean my camera. I don't know why it's so messy.
That's so weird. These noises that are happening right now. But sliceonbroadway.com, they support this show. They
better?
They help us. Yeah, It looks great. It looks that's good. That's good. Do you still want some pizza, buddy?
I got blueberries, but thank you.
All right, that's awesome. But no, yeah, they've been real cool to us, and they're actually going to have episode 200 of the Awesome Cast next week there on Thursday, the 29th, I think it is. Look for information on that. We're going to be setting up a Facebook group. A Facebook event here soon. So if you want to join us, if you're in the Pittsburgh area, celebrate 200 episodes of Talking Tech in the Pittsburgh area with us, please. And other great stuff coming up, of course. They've been super, super awesome. So now we do have another email, and I believe, Rizz, you have called this one.
Mayhemers.
Hi.
If I were to tell you that there is a small bearded champion who is married to one of the female competitors, what company would you think I was talking about? Okay. If I were also to tell you that champion was being haunted by a former tag partner who is also a monster and wears a mask, what company would I be talking about? If I were to say
NBC.
That is a good answer. If I were to also say that an authority figure who goes by a 3-letter name formed a faction of a guy he used to feud with, who is young and considers himself a playboy, and a former MMA guy who just returned, is very muscle bound and doesn't like pants. What company would I be talking about?
CNN. I know this joke. I've heard it before.
If you answered WWE or TNA, you are correct.
Shit.
Yeah. What he's talking about is I'm not going to say the name that we came up with, but there is another evolution featuring MVP, Kenny King, and Bobby Lashley. Just throw it out there. It's evolution,
Name.
but with other people. Anyway, on to some questions. How much do you think that Tony Atlas sad clown painting sold for?
Did they say how much they raised overall on that?
I don't think they did, but if you were looking at the montage they had the guy that kept on looking at the painting and looking at the silent auction, and it went up to about, I want to say it was a clear 100 when they first saw it. When I first saw the little screen, it was $100. Other than that, I'm not sure where or how much they raised or how much the painting sold for, but holy shit, Tony Atlas is a great-ass painter.
Yeah, and
Even
apparently
though
he's really good at
creepy
cooking.
little guy with the foot fetish.
Even though he cooks a lot of pig's feet and parts.
Pig's
That
feet
was
and
weird.
chitlins.
That entire segment was very weird to me. And
Have you ever had chitlins?
I come from a family where they cook the interesting like I've had deer hearts sitting in my fridge.
We determined that Legends House is mostly food preparation.
Yeah,
Done incorrectly.
there could be a WWE Network cooking show spun off from this. I think.
I would watch that.
I
would watch
mean,
that.
wouldn't you? I mean, let's be honest.
And it's just Roddy Piper fighting with a blender for an hour.
Oh yes,
That's good.
Oh,
And then him and Hacksaw incorrectly trying to use a GPS to get food.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that painting? How much it might go for?
I would have probably guessed it was probably around. It might have grossed 200. I want to say it went over 2.
I believe it.
Or are we playing the Price is Right game?
Without going over.
$1.
Without going over.
$1. I bid $1.
Oh, you
50 cents.
Oh, shit, Bobby. God damn it. You are so good at this.
No.
All right.
All right.
Next question. Which piece of Michael Cole's attire should Alicia Fox steal next week?
What? Oh my God.
She
should steal his mustache.
What?
What?
You already did.
Oh.
Alicia Fox is a nice lady.
I don't know. His iPad? I don't know.
Jockstrap.
His WWE app.
Wow. Next
Bobby?
Well, yeah?
You have anything? No? Okay. Who is Bram and where the fuck are Sharon and Lois?
This is a TNA thing. I'm out.
Before.
Bram
nothing.
is a gigantic bearded guy who is with Magnus. I don't know. And I don't know who Sharon and Lois are. Next question. If you could pick one weapon to LARP against the WWE Legends, what would it be? Mine would be a paternity suit. That was Mad Mike's answer. That was not the Rizz answer. Go ahead.
I would pick a foam coconut covered in duct tape.
Sorg?
That seems right.
I know
That seems
what
right.
LARPers do.
Duct tape covered garden shears.
Yep.
There you go.
Is that your answer, Sorg?
That's my answer. Bobby?
Bobby?
Ill-prepared food.
Covered in duct tape.
Covered in duct tape,
Stay
yes.
with the theme.
And-
Hey, for those who don't
and
know,
wrapped in
live action role playing, LB, I know you know this very well with me, is usually things fashioned as weapons, usually involving PVC pipe and a lot of duct tape and some padding.
That's correct.
Typically,
Oh, yes.
typically
We used to
some
beat the fuck out of each other with those back in college.
Yep, that was a great. We really didn't go for the rules and the RPG side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just like to hate each other.
Yeah, yeah. Let's be honest.
Mine would probably be Peter Dinklage.
Covered in duct tape, a little bit of foam.
Covered in duct tape and PVC piping.
I like it. I like it. Trial by
I've seen
combat.
a fetish porn like that.
White Alchemist ending transmission sent from my iPad.
I gotta think, wasn't that the basis for Knights of Badassdom, though?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Yeah,
Pretty
that was. Don't spoil it, Sorg.
Oh, but sorry, my bad.
If you haven't seen that yet, don't spoil it for those people.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Because that actually kind of
Fits.
what happened.
All right.
Peter Dinklage shows up.
Yeah, he's on it. He's starring in it.
He's like the one of the main characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like Summer Glau and that one guy from Community and anyways,
Steve's on.
Anyways, guys, as usual, hey, we're going to come back with Remember When. But first, we're going to take a look at a little bit of the Zach Gowen story, Finding Zach Gowen. The trailer here, you can get that over on joe-dabrowski.com. Links right there for the DVD and digital download version. Here at Sorgatron Media, we put that together along with Outsource Announcing. It was a great time. It's a roller coaster story, but it was great to meet Zach and do some filming for this thing. And I think it's a great story that I hope it gets spread around a good bit. Here it is, and we'll be right back.
I'm going to talk about some things that I find, personally, I still find painful. See, it's kind of difficult for me to talk about because my childhood necessarily wasn't the best childhood. You know, I was in my own prison. I broke my leg in 3 or 4 places.
He was diagnosed in October as having osteogenic sarcoma. We didn't know what that surgery would mean.
I woke up as an 8-year-old missing his leg. It was definitely fate, I believe, that led me to the House of Truth Wrestling Academy. But in my heart, I knew that this is exactly what I was born to do. I finally found a place that accepted me. It was the most euphoric feeling I've ever had in my life.
And here's why I finally let him know. I go, listen, the WWE is going to call you.
I was completely overwhelmed.
This guy has a definite future in his business.
But I get to be in a Piper's Pit. I get to go to the ring with Hulk Hogan, wrestling the Big Show, working with Brock Lesnar, to be in the ring with Vince. Like, this is totally insane to me.
9 months before that, he was just a fan. 9 months later, he's in the ring with Hulk Hogan.
You could see this attitude change.
He definitely got an ego.
I rebelled and I acted out.
People didn't want to be put in matches with him.
Zach had so much heat. It looked like he was getting the living hell beat out of him.
And that it was better that he'd leave or they're going to end up killing him.
It definitely changed Zach when he got released.
The drugs and alcohol become my answer to all of that.
It just started going way downhill after that.
Zach's drug use was out of hand.
I feared for Zach's life many times.
I used to have dreams that he would die.
It was the closest I've seen to him being OD.
The guy has a gun to my head.
He went through a dark time in his life, and sometimes people need to do that to learn how to live.
He's been through hell and back. That's the important part. He's back.
Zach's legacy can be anything he wants it to be.
It's a journey unlike anybody's story I've ever heard in my life. And I would want people to know the entire Zach Gowen story. And then then judge Zach.
Hey guys, welcome back. And of course, check out Finding Zach Gowen over on joe-dombrowski.com for all those options. Or zachgowen.com, actually. Got a new website up for him recently. And it's got links to all those versions of Finding Zach Gowen as well. So to somebody who had a drug problem, to talking about drugs in wrestling, because it is episode 420, it's time for a Remember When? What are you doing? What?
Did I hear like keys jingling in the background?
I'm trying to figure out how he did that with his mouth. What happened?
When did you buy a didgeridoo?
That's really hard to do for a while. Well, Sorg, that special Remember When song was because of our special Remember When, because it is episode 420.
It is.
And we were talking about the trippiest moments in professional wrestling.
The trippiest moments in professional wrestling. Where things...
You're supposed to keep going. There's a music.
The trippiest moments in professional wrestling. We're going to talk about them. When did wrestling just not make sense? When did they use bright colors? When was there inferred drug use in pro wrestling? What do you remember from those things? And of course, I gotta remember, and I know, Bobby, you said you were going to take this one, but I said it first. Aside from the RVD stuff and everything, but my favorite is the John Morrison slow motion entrance. Still my favorite. I'm sure he can't pull it off quite as well in the indies with those budgets. So I mean that really stuck out to me. Bobby, did you have a replacement for that one?
Oh, now you go to me after you take. Come back to me later.
What about you there, LB?
I got 3 words for you.
Oh,
just 3 words.
Just 3 words.
If you know what I'm talking about, you'll understand. If you don't, look it up. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Man, mountain, rock. Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need.
That's
it's
all
man,
you need.
mountain, rock. If you want to Google it, hell, if you want a little bit of some imagery, oh my God, there's a WWF guitar attached to this. There's a little bit of imagery right there. Why is Bastion Booger attached to this?
Because Bastion Booger is what?
Same era.
Somebody wiped him there.
Wow.
Oh, Bobby. You
Bobby, no.
I got one now.
All right, what do you got, Bobby?
Every Ultimate Warrior promo ever. Load the rocket fuel, or load the rocket ship with the rocket fuel.
Yeah, when he's talking about crashing a plane leading into WrestleMania 6 was the nuttiest thing. You know, the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, yes, it was kind of a shitty thing they did for him, but the part when they have the wrestlers like talking about his promos and making impressions of the promos is the bright spot of that DVD. I mean, you have to admit that.
So, they actually used it in the footage of him for after he passed away. The wrestlers talking about his promos.
Right. That's right, they did, which is really interesting, right? What about you, Rizz?
One of the trippiest moments was the mini battle royal, the mini Royal Rumble that they did for Hornswoggle, and just having like these characters come out looking exactly like their counterparts, but only smaller. And I would probably say if I saw that again, I would probably think I was on drugs.
Okay. What about you, Wheelz?
Mini Tista.
Wheelz.
Forget Mini Tista.
Wheelz, how about you?
Well, let's see. What do I got? I'm going like right now. I actually have two in my head, but I'm going to go for just one right now. And I'm going to go for the Exotic Express.
It is. You know, that is perfect. That is actually perfect.
Yeah, the lights, the dancing, the camera angles. It's the trippiest thing ever, but you enjoy it most.
I really wish that thing actually went like coast to coast, just like the Lex Express did.
Still does,
and
still
ended
Flex Express in your town,
and yet still ends on the Intrepid, USS Intrepid, where he gets the body slam Yokozuna.
No, where you get to slam a bunch of LSD.
That happens on the way. That definitely happens on the way.
On a lollipop that's filled with acid.
From the chat. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud for one thing. Bullet Club says, Robbie V versus Scotty Flamingo in WCW in 1993, a classic 420 match. He also adds, I had never heard of this one. Capital City Wrestling in 1977 when Freddie Blassie had a caged werewolf that they posted a big censored over it. The footage was so bad that the Capital City Wrestling has yet to post the footage anywhere.
What?
Werewolf?
What? Did you say wait? Sorg.
Read the chat room.
I feel like you said a caged werewolf.
A werewolf.
Is that what you said? Did you say werewolf?
Werewolf.
Yes, he did.
Werewolf?
You couldn't possibly be saying werewolf.
Werewolf.
Where?
This is madness.
There.
It was my yinzer coming through. Am I saying this weird? Is it?
Will Wheaton became a werewolf.
I'm mainly making a joke.
Oh.
You're not actually misspeaking. I'm just saying it's bonkers.
It is bonkers. So there you go. Let us know your trippiest moments. Woo! What is happening? In wrestling, let us know. Comments on.
Did anybody mention anything with RVD?
Nope. That's where RVD is.
Sorg!
I can't keep doing that.
Sorg, you hear me?
Somebody's talking to me. Wait, somebody's talking to me through the ether, through the internets. It's like
Sorg,
he's in the deep dark well of the internets. Who is this?
It's just me, your little old buddy in the mainstream media, calling to you far away from the top of my ivory tower.
Apparently without a video camera in that ivory tower. That works.
It's sad. I live a sad existence. I want to share my favorite, trippiest moment. I believe that this is ironclad. You can't argue that the trippiest moment in professional wrestling history was the debut of the Shockmaster. That was probably the trippiest moment ever.
True. Very true.
I get it.
Ooh, I have a good joke. Oh wait, no, never mind.
What?
Nope. Just ignore me.
Ignoring him to tell you about our friends. Hey, you know another place you can support not just the Wrestling Mayhem Show, but other indies, other wrestlers that you enjoy that are no longer in WWE. That's a weird way to put that. ProWrestlingTees.com, guys. ProWrestlingTees.com/WMS. We have a store over there. You can get our stuff. You can get stuff, WMS logo stuff, as well as some great designs by the great Alex Cars of ObsessedWithWrestling.com. Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Property of Mayhem, all 1999. But that's not all. That's not all. Yes, you can support us. You can put some clothes on your back. You can be a banner for the show that you dig here at the Wrestling Mayhem Show, but there's so much more. There's Macho Man Randy Savage stuff. There's DDP Yoga. There's Andre the Giant officially licensed merchandise over here. But not just that. You can check out, there was a great interview this week on Art of Wrestling about Chris Hero, talking about his life after the WWE, and it's so great to see these guys finding so much. This is a side note, but he wants to do wrestling consultation, apparently for like guys coming up and working on their characters and new guys in indie wrestling. Apparently, it's a pretty cool concept that he's doing. But he does have a shop over there. You can support the great Chris Hero. He's an independent, and also I pour out to these guys on wrestling because I'm a lowly freelancer, independent worker kind of guy in my field with video and web and all that kind of stuff. So these guys are too, and I love that independent spirit and support these. And a lot of it is based on you guys digging what they're doing, just like digging what I'm doing with you guys, fans of the show and the clients. But Chris Hero, he's got a great stuff. Chris's awesome shirt, Fighting Spirit. Go pick up a Chris Hero shirt, maybe an Andre the Giant shirt, but don't forget to also get a Wrestling Mayhem Show shirt as well. Just stack up your stuff for you to wear at those indie shows, to those WWE shows, to those Japan Invasion shows, all that stuff we were talking about earlier. It's a boom. It's a boom. It's like you know what? Maybe it's not the era of the network. It's the era of the independent wrestler, and this is our way for them to stay independent and the independent podcast. Never know. Anyways, so let's get into some talk about what's been going on lately in wrestling, guys. I know there's some discussion we wanted to hit up here afterwards. I can't remember. One of you guys said you wanted to talk about something after the break.
That's me. I did.
That was LB.
I did.
LB, what was your topic on your mind?
It's not just on my mind. It's on the minds of many people, mainly Vince McMahon more than anyone else. Vince McMahon is no longer a billionaire.
Oh my!
He lost $350 million, which is a third of his fortune in one day. In one day, I believe it was the day or the day after they announced the new deal with NBC Television. WWE stock fell, around 45%, which is insane. That is bonkers for a stock to fall that much. Now I've been looking into this. I'm sorry, it's 44%. That's it, 44%. The business end of WWE is in trouble right now. The reason being is because Wall Street in general and a lot of investors feel that they severely overpromised on the WWE network, projected profits, things like that. They're being investigated by, as far as I know, 2 different companies. I only have one bookmarked here. It's the Ademi and O'Reilly LLP. They're individual investor investigation. I don't know how to say it. They fucking look into stuff.
Investigative?
Investigative. Yes.
They have alligators.
Yeah. They're alligators. They're money alligators. Anyway, they released a statement just recently that says we're investigating possible securities fraud claims against the World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated resulting from inaccurate statements WWE made regarding its business practices, financial statements, and prospects. When WWE announced their deal with Comcast and NBC Universal, I'm sorry, I'm way out of frame. I completely apologize. They fully expected to be making twice what the old deal was. Instead, it was only a 50% increase, which you look at it and think, that's still nothing to sneeze at, which is true. But the fact of the matter is they promised a 100% increase and didn't deliver on it. You also have the WWE Network, which they wanted to have a million new subscribers by the time they had the investor call. But the fact of the matter is they had, I think it was 660,000 roundabout. So needless to say, WWE is in a spot of trouble right now. There's a very interesting article over at the Wall Street Journal where I was reading about it. Forbes has an article that focuses more on how much money Vince McMahon lost. And Chachi actually shared an article with us from the postgame.com that also talks about how much money Vince McMahon lost. it's crazy and it's unprecedented, and it has the potential to completely change the executive landscape at the WWE.
And yeah, so what? There's talk of people wanting to oust Vince, for instance. And you're right. It's the overpromise, and they did go big, and they did make a huge gamble on everything. And it's not that I don't think exclusively they failed. As far as businesses go, it's disappointing. The bigger issue, and I see this all the time with tech, the stock market is bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
It could be one way to describe it. The stock market doesn't make sense. The stock market is not rational. Okay, it's gambling with your money, with a large company's money, with other people with only their interest in mind. If they're not making X amount of money from your money, then they start selling, and this kind of thing will happen. For instance, Apple. Can you really think of Apple really fucking up in the last few years? Not really, but because they're not making more money than they were last year, even though they're making more money than anybody else and have more money than anybody else, their stock goes down.
Well, also the other thing with Apple is, you're not going to see a huge plummet like this because they can deliver on their promises. WWE thought they could deliver on their promises, but as it turns out, not so much.
True. But still, I still don't consider. I mean, the WWE Network is not a failure.
Oh
Right.
No, it's not a failure by any stretch of the imagination. But if I told you I was going to give you $500 and you were counting on that $500, and I was like, well, I can only give you $50, you're going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I get $500?
Well, sorry to intrude, but let's define success and failure for the WWE Network. Even though it's a good product, they have stated that they need 1 million subscribers to make it profitable. So for them, being profitable defines success. So they need 1 million subscribers to make the network a success.
And here's a distinction from that, because I thought that was about we need 1 million subscribers by the end of the year.
That's what I thought I heard too, though.
That was the conversation. But yes, whatever this deal was they got from USA Networks is not as big as they had. And this is weird because they did have that perfect storm of all of their rights were going out at the same time. It was supposed to be a huge bargaining chip. So what happened?
It failed. No other networks took the bait.
Okay, so they didn't have anybody else biting for them.
Not at the numbers that NBC was offering.
I wonder who WWE was hoping to play against NBC Universal. Were they hoping to play Spike against them? Were they hoping to play Fox against them? Those are the ones that keep getting name dropped. Then I hear this AMC get thrown into the mix.
Yeah, and they just
announced
the wrestling show.
And I remember those AMC rumors regarding WWE, and we all kind of dismissed them as kind of something silly. And now it sounds like AMC's getting involved with Global Force. That's just a strange partnership.
I didn't hear Global Force coming up with the AMC talks. Is that for real?
Kind of rumored.
Because they're doing that thing with Billy Corrigan's Resistance Pro.
Oh, Resistance Pro. You're right. You got me.
Okay.
You're right.
So they are getting involved with something.
I'm getting all these rinky-dink feds mixed up now, Sorg.
I think there's rumors, there's potential rumors of maybe Spike TV expanding their wrestling offerings or changing them. We talked about a little bit earlier. Like I said, people are interested in wrestling. Wrestling is in a lot of places and will be in a lot more places in different fashions. I think starting this fall. But I think also these guys realize we don't need to pay for WWE. It's not exclusive.
I mean, if you could sit there and go, hey, WWE is offering me this, but that's way too high. But what about this little indie company that we could possibly help by throwing them a little bit of money that won't kill us, but it'll help them, and we could show wrestling on this channel.
Mm-hmm. Now, granted, Spike TV has very soft numbers as far as their ratings on Spike TV, but I still venture that they're still one of the highest rated things on Spike TV.
I think you might be right, but everything else
That
that's
is
on
true.
Spike TV is like Cops.
Yeah, and for what they and that's the game they have to play. It's they paid X for Cops, and they're getting X profits out of how many people in the advertising. That's the game they play. How much TNA is a low production cost, because most of the time they're in Universal Studios and they try to go out, and I don't know how much Spike TV is paying them that offsets the price, but still, it's got to be in comparison, especially in comparison to something like, Bellator, because MMA is just a little bit hotter right now. And again, we see this with regular television as well. It's how much is that show versus are we getting what we expected on it? This kind of lends to hey, there's a lot more options. Maybe that smattering that's happening out there, and that selection and that choices of wrestling that's popping up, maybe that was the biggest downfall. And maybe WWE as a corporation underestimated all these rinky-dink outfits that are getting TV time now.
See, on the flip side of that, you look at AMC. Like you said, TNA is very low production cost. You look at AMC, everything they put on TV is gold. AMC is a very hot network right now, and they're known for it. So they know they can put something with low production values like professional wrestling. I'm sorry, low production costs like professional wrestling on TV, and people will watch it because it's on AMC.
Even more, low production costs as in reality television, which is what they're actually doing with the Resistance Pro. So, and that's an interesting thing. So, like, what are you doing with this? I'm curious what the angle on the reality show is like, so you're going to have a reality show about the promotion that I can't see, or actually I can watch the programs online. So are they using the reality show Resistance Pro? Is their angle, well, we're getting money to do the reality show, and maybe more people will check us out online, which leads to, I don't know, DVD sales, shows, people that come through Chicago and actually catch one of their shows. I don't know what the angle is beyond that, but still. Very interesting time for that. And you know what? This is one of those dangers about somebody like WWE doing a public thing versus they could have done this gamble. They could have been doing just fine. And, Vince is sticking his neck out for himself, with WWE Network, and they wouldn't have had this problem. But then again, would they have gotten to a point like this with this board or with the investors, the way that they do? I don't know. I still think WWE Network's going to pay off in the end when they do get millions and they do open up to other networks.
When they take it to other countries, that's when it's going to be
big time, because people
it has to be, otherwise they're screwed.
One thing, okay, first of all, other countries, a lot of them have better internet than we do. B, are far, far, far more rabid for pro wrestling.
That's true, because they never get it.
Yeah. Well, not even they don't get it. I mean, some of these guys are getting like free pay-per-views already. It's not a big deal. But just to have that access, I think, TNA does well. I think that tells you. Some of them, I think, much like
TNA does a lot better in England because it's more accessible than WWE is.
Okay.
In England, they have more ports to watch TNA.
Okay.
Their pay-per-views are free sometimes, as well as WWE's, but also they have the Impact and they have Explosion, which is the one that we don't have. It's kind of like Superstars. But they also have just that different type of atmosphere that they don't get to see them pretty often. And as we saw last night, when they get a big show like Raw or TNA or SmackDown or something like that, they go bonkers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, come on. Look at how many.
So that's why once the network gets to England, that's probably where it's gonna, flourish.
Yeah, I believe it. But still, I mean, I think this is the company with the biggest gamble, the biggest over-the-top offering. I listened to shows saying about how, these companies need to go over the top and just get rid of the cable companies. WWE's taking that risk, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. So, and
I will just throw one more thing in, Sorg, is that, I can't cite my source on this one, but I recall reading somewhere that the network's subscription-based growth, when you're looking at that, that over-the-top segment of the internet, it's the fastest growing over-the-top venture that there's been.
I believe it. I mean, and that I've seen it, that I've seen the network be mentioned in the news outlets that I read, that it is crossing over, like it's making an impact. Either way, it's making an impact. And I think it's reimagining what they do. I mean, I think you see a pattern when you see when they say this is the most watched thing over the week. There's some interesting patterns. Did you guys notice ECW Hardcore TV was popping up on the list this week?
Oh god!
I think wasn't that just recently added?
No, that's been there since the beginning.
That's been there since the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, as soon as they keep adding more new content, you're just going to see that list changing to
see more content. Things. Clash of the Champions has been a great ad. I went and watched the first ever.
City was second.
What's that?
Slam City was second on that.
Slam City was second. Yes, it was, because every one of us here watched it. I caught up on my episodes this week.
Isn't Saturday night's main event coming up soon too?
Oh, I hope so.
I think they're going to release all those soon.
And you knew this was happening.
Great. I miss those.
To the guy that was like, I don't know if there's enough content on there, like back before this started on the board, on the group. It's like, well, hey, this is exactly what we expected to happen, right? And it's like, well, no, it's coming. They're able to say, hey, here's all the pay-per-views. Hey, here's this. But you're going to start seeing more and more. Remember, they had WrestleMania to think about for a while there. And I think it's coming around, and it's a glorious thing. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan, guys. Keep saying that. It's an amazing time to be a wrestling fan. It feels
unless
like
you're a stockholder, then it's kind
of. If you're a stockholder, you're not a wrestling fan, okay? Typically, probably. Ugh.
Yeah, you're just a money-hungry jerk.
Guys.
Don't yell at me.
I gotta tell you, the jury's out on that one. I can't tell if it's really good or not. It might be really good. That might have been really good. I'm sorry.
I'm just mad with this whole initiative with the referring friends with the network thing. Everybody I know already has it. So
that's the thing.
Hey guys, do you want to subscribe to the network?
So if you want to subscribe to the network, please, I don't know how's the system work. Don't we have to email them or something like that? I'm just gonna email all of my colleagues from work and hope some of them are wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I know one from work that I've been talking to that was interested in the network, so I wanted to look that up.
Get that gift card, Sorg.
Get that gift card.
$25.
Oh,
there's a limited edition Shield shirt that just went up today.
There you go. Hey guys, let me know, what'd you learn from wrestling this week? How about you, Bobby? Did you learn something? You learn anything, buddy?
To me again first.
Come on, man. I don't want everybody keeps taking your stuff.
I want
to make sure you're okay, buddy.
I had something and I was thinking of for what I learned, and now I can't remember what it was.
All right, how about you, LB?
On the spot.
Did you learn something, LB?
Oh, I'm sure I did, Sorg.
None of us remember.
It is 420 after all.
None of us remember a clever way to say it.
It is the show 420, so nobody remembers anything. Dead air.
Oh, okay, here's one. I'm looking forward to when John Cena makes out with the Usos' girlfriends in front of them and then rolls them down a ramp in a wheelchair.
What?
There it is. Got it.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. What about
That's it. Zack Ryder.
Bobby, did you get anything yet?
Yeah, I want to commend. I learned that Damien Sandow is awesome. because tonight on Main Event he dressed as Sherlock Holmes and he's a good little soldier. And that there's a new stable in the WWE and they're comprised mostly of the element Neon. That's John Cena and the Usos.
Yeah.
Is it like Neon Action Time Go?
Yeah, super happy action, Neon Extreme Force Go.
All right, thanks, Bobby. What about you, Rizz? What'd you learn from wrestling this week?
I learned it's bow time.
It's bow time. It's bow time on Friday, buddy. It's happening.
Bow time.
We brought.
It's
I think
not impossible.
on wrap up we were
impossible.
On wrap up we were talking about the idea that we really
you can't
hope.
Spell challenge.
What? Are you still talking? On the wrap up we talked about the idea that we really hope that Bo Dallas encounters Hulk Hogan since they're both on SmackDown.
Oh God.
See if
Hulk
that happens.
Hogan is going to be awesome.
Wheelz, how about you?
What did I learn from wrestling? I have learned that lollipop that good old Adam Rose is sucking on is a rose. So, there. I think Rizz asked that question. What the hell it is? So it's a rose.
No, what I asked was, what's in it?
That I can't answer.
Okay.
Everlasting gobstopper.
Mr. Mainstream Media, Matt Carlins, what'd you learn?
Well, hey, I did learn through YouTube. There's like a Shakara video that's floating around with kind of like I guess like the history of Shakara. I've never watched Shakara before.
Yeah.
But I watched this little like 5-minute video, which is kind of like a retrospective. I learned there are a lot of variations on the ant character in Shakara.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
20 or 30 of them. And I was losing track of which was which. But
I thought you were going to talk about Kuka Bunny and CP Monk.
no, I guess that's for another day.
That is for another day.
Awesome.
Sorg, what did you learn?
I learned from wrestling this week. Oh, geez. The Wyatts. We talked a little bit about the Wyatts earlier, but the Wyatts are bringing that tingly feeling to the back of my neck that I enjoy from wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yes. I just loved the promo he had at the beginning of Raw. I even noticed, I think Mike brought up last night on the wrap up, how they interrupted the intro to go into that. For whatever reason, I always miss the intro. Getting ready to sit down for it, whatever I'm wrapping up beforehand. But that was cool. And him going in and talking about the teacher and say, here I am, and you're in an old folks home with your ideas. Like, oh my God, that's so tremendous. And that's the other thing, kind of leading to the thing earlier. Because the anti-establishment ideas, I think, are also what's carrying over with the Wyatts, that everybody's getting into it. So
there was a lot of lights in that crowd last night.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. All right, guys, on that note, hey, it's been the Wrestling Mayhem Show. Thank you, Hot Wheels. Thank you, Matt Carlins. Thank you, The Rizz. Bobby F. J. Town, the DJ Lunchbox, the Papa Lunchbox, for joining us. I'm Matt Sorgatron on the Twitters. Of course, you can drop us a line. We're over at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, YouTube, video, audio formats, Blip TV as well. You can also drop us a line, email address.
Good time.
About a good time.
Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com or 412-206-WMS0. Thanks again to Michael Allen at Mike Allen PR on the Twitters. Hit him up, follow him. He's been helping us out with the show notes and the tweets all night long every week. And of course, you can join us here live Tuesdays, live.sorgatronmedia.com at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We go all the way through 11 p.m. is our Indie Mayhem Show. That's an interview series that we've been doing. 20 episodes as of this week, of course. A little bit of people we know, myself and Eamon, from our regions up here in Pittsburgh in the indie wrestling scene, and his area down in Texas for the indie wrestling scene, and everywhere in between. It's been a lot of fun. We had Justin LaBar, of course, of WrestleZone and the Bleacher Report, was on the show last week. A rare on-camera interview about his career, how he came to wrestling. Really interesting. I did not realize his experiences young. I guess I think he said his father was involved with the local promotions back when like the WWF guys used to be in there. So very young, he got to see a lot of the backstage. A really fun interview. Go check that out. Plus, we talk about the Japanese invasion of indie wrestling on episode 19 of that Indie Mayhem Show. That's over at WrestlingMayhemShow.com, of course. So thank you, everybody in the chat room, hopping all night, having fun. And we'll see you guys next week. Mayhem out.
Just wait, just wait.